Right, welcome back guys. Today I'm brewing up this Cooper's Golden Crown Lager. I've brewed up the 86 Day Pilsner last summer and it was fantastic. I used a kilo of light malt extract and I used the Mangrove Jack's California lager yeast. It came out really good. I was really pleased with it. With this one, I'm going to actually just be brewing it with like a kilo of brewing enhancer. So 500 grams of light dry malt extract and 500 grams of dextrose sugar, keeping it really simple. I'm not too, because I don't mind the dextrose in here, I don't want this to be too full bodied. I want it to be a nice kind of light, refreshing lager. So the difference sort of doing with this one is that I'm using a proper lager yeast. So I've got this Hell Lager yeast from Crossmyloof. It's a bottom fermenting Pilsner yeast. So if you've not used lager yeast before, the main difference is that it's bottom fermenting and it also ferments at a much lower temperature. So I'm actually going to be fermenting this at 12 degrees. And because of that, the sort of lower temperature, it's going to take a bit longer. So I'm actually going on holiday for a couple of weeks next weekend. So I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to get this on, so it's not kind of tying up my fermentation fridge for too long while I'm hanging around waiting for it to finish. So I'm going to get this on a week before I go away, and it's going to be fermenting for the 2 weeks I'm away. So I'm going to actually be fermenting this at 12 degrees for 3 weeks. So it should be fairly well done by then. And when I get back, I'm going to just sort of ramp up that temperature a degree, maybe a degree a day, till I sort of reach to 18, something like that. Hold it there for a couple of days, and that'll be it. So that's the plan. Hopefully the result will be a really nice, crisp, refreshing lager. I'll probably have to condition it for a little while after. I don't know quite how I'm going to tackle that, because really it needs to be conditioned or lagered at a very low temperature. So I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. And yeah, so it should be fairly straightforward. I'm just going to dump this in the fermenter with some hot water, along with the light malt dried extract and the dextrose. Pitch the yeast, hopefully about 12 degrees, and yeah, let it go for 3 weeks. So yeah, I was probably, I don't know, I'll take some photos along the way, and yeah, I'll see you kind of maybe in several weeks once it's finished, and I'll let you know if it was kind of worth the hassle and prolonging the fermentation with this yeast. So yeah, good experiment. See you at the end. Cheers. Right, welcome back. So here we have the Cooper's lager with the brewed with the Hell's lager yeast. It has had 2 weeks in the bottle carving and 2 weeks in the fridge, as low as I can set it to kind of lager it. So from what I've been reading, there's a couple of ways that you can kind of lager condition these types of beers, and that is after fermentation you put it into a large vessel, you put that in the fridge and reduce it and lager it over a few weeks, or you can bottle it like I did, condition it in the bottle and then lager it. So it's going to get better over time, I'm sure. It's had 2 weeks in the fridge kind of lagering, as low as I can set it. So I'm keen to try it, so I'm sure they will get better, but I'm going to give it a try now after in total being in the bottle for 4 weeks. So yeah, it was quite a lot more faffing about than obviously using like a pseudo lager yeast, something like the Mangrove Jack's Cali Lager, which you ferment at ale temperatures just over the standard kind of 2 week process. This was fermented over 3 weeks, so 2 weeks at 12 degrees, and then on the 3rd week I ramped up the temperature gradually to 18 degrees. So that is, I believe, to kind of avoid the diacetyl type thing, which is that sort of buttery popcorn taste that you get. So So yeah, 3 weeks fermenting, 2 weeks carbing, 2 weeks lagering. They're going to get better as I leave them, I'm sure. So as you can see, it's already quite a lengthy process just to get to this stage. Keen to try it, so let's just get the top off it and see what it's like. So here goes. I've got my Wimbledon glass out. Wimbledon's on this week, so I felt it only right to have my Wimbledon beer glass this week. I did cold crash it for an extra 2 days as well in the fridge. You can see it's crystal clear. Hardly any sediment in it due to the fact that it was cold crashed. I mean, it looks pretty damn good. I don't know if you can, if you're getting that on the camera. It looks like a proper lager. For a cheap kit, you know, the Cooper's kits, I don't know what it was, 12, 13 quid maybe. Half a kilo of light dried malt extract and half a kilo of sugar. You know, it's probably, I don't know what that is, probably an extra £5. I've used 2 packets of yeast, so that bumped up the price a little bit. As I was cold pitching it, they recommended 2 packs of yeast, so the yeast probably cost me 4 or 5 quid. The question is, was it worth the length of time that it took to get to this stage over using a kind of nail yeast? So the proof is in the tasting. I mean, the smell, getting a little bit of sort of maltiness from it, kind of a little bit of sort of floral hop character. Not too much in the way of kind of hop character, as you would expect for this kind of style of beer. It's an Australian lager. It's supposed to be cold and supped on hot sunny days, so it is what it is, but let's have a taste. That's pretty damn good. Now, it's nice and crisp. It's a lot crisper than what you'd expect if you were using an ale yeast. It's really clean. That's the first thing that strikes me. It's fermented really, really cleanly. There's a nice amount of bitterness to it. It's not too over. It's a really nice beer, actually. It's the first time I've done that kit. I mean, it's good, really good. I probably couldn't tell the difference between that and something out of a can or a bottle, to be perfectly honest. I mean, pretty damn good. I only used tap water as well in this, I think. Yeah, pretty sure I did. Tap water just with pure brew. Yeah, I'm really, really impressed with that. But I'm pretty sure that the yeast has made quite a bit of difference in the finished product. So the answer to the question, was it worth it? Yes, it probably was. I don't know if I could be bothered to do it all of the time. The Mangrove Jack's California yeast is still a really good yeast, and I'd recommend it. It's not that far off of this, but this is definitely a lot crisper than using that yeast. But you know, it does tie up your fermenter and your fermentation fridge, in my case, for quite a while. So I don't know, maybe I probably, if I was going to do it again, I'd perhaps think about brewing it in the winter. So I could brew it in my fridge for 2 or 3 weeks and then kind of just chuck it in the shed at almost freezing temperatures and lager over the winter. That's probably how I do it next time, rather than trying to do it in the summer where you've got to keep the temperatures low. But overall, I would say I'm really impressed with that, and yeah, I'd definitely use that yeast again. It's fantastic, really good. I'm going to enjoy drinking these, and I'm glad I've got, I don't know, 40 odd bottles of it. So turns out about 4%, so it's a nice kind of, I don't know, lawnmower lager, lawnmower beer, is that the right term? I don't know, but it's a nice kind of easy drinking beer when you want to have a few cold ones after a day's work or whatever. this really hits the spot. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. I'm going to mark that up as a success. Cheers.